Good evening and welcome to week 6 of the ECAC Overwatch 2 spring season. We have an action-packed game in store tonight. I'm your caster Inferno, joined tonight by my fellow caster Althea and our observer Beldia. And I'm going to pass it over to Althea for our team breakdown.
How's it going? We're having a fantastic week here. Pretty nice matchup we're going to see from these teams. On the blue team here, we got Edgewood College out of Madison, Wisconsin. Their current record is 2-3, so they're looking to make themselves positive this week. And on the red team, we have Owls Esports from Florida Atlantic University out of Boca Raton, Florida, on a current record of 5-0, going undefeated. So they're looking to maintain their record, while Edgewood's looking to level theirs a bit. We're gonna have an interesting match coming together today. Looking at the comps already, we're seeing some standard picks, while some also non-standard picks, such as the Reinhardt from Gordo, as well as that Baptiste, are both picks that I'm fairly excited to see.
Yeah, definitely not the most common pick, but we're actually going to see the Symmetra stay as well from Edgewood. You usually just see that teleporter come out and then a swap, but we're going to go right to the point. Edgewood is going to be challenging Owl to come to the point.
It's going to be a tough start too, as we see Owls starting out on that Ramatra, fighting into Edgewood on the Reinhardt. That's going to make it real hard for Edgewood to have to deal with here, because that's just a straight hard counter. We do see it there, as we did see Hudio with some nice picks at the start to kind of flip that in Owl's way.
Yeah, it is a straight hard counter, and it's surprising that we're not going to see an immediate swap from that Reinhardt. We are going to see Gordo tough it out. Maybe just trying to build this Earth Shatter. Not too sure what they're going to go for, but they are taking this outside flank to the point.
Yeah, I mean, even though I do like that Rein pick, I don't know how strong it's going to pull. That's a really tough pick in Kaiser. I don't know how well it's going to play, especially this Sojourn too. That's just going to be free charge on that Rein shield. Although the point will flip in favor of Owls, or sorry, in favor of Edgewood. But Gordo is looking low. We just might be picking Maddie.
Yeah, Edgewood was in control, but not for long. We'll see Owls just regroup and get back right away, stopping Edgewood shy of 20% even.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they even flipped that point to begin with was a bit of a surprise. They got cleaned up pretty quick, but we are going to see a few swaps, such as that Cassidy from Kaiser. That Magnate is going to be very helpful to deal with Yui. Just shut down those blinks, as well as most of the Owls here.
Overclock coming out now from Hudio, getting a Maywall, a block of ice shoved in their face. Will overcome the adversity that Edgewood is throwing at them. And will pick up the rest of the kills. And keep this point ticking now.
Yeah, Melly's going to get caught out by Hudio on the way out. That's just going to be an even longer stall for Edgewood, as we're seeing a Moira swap from Maddie. That's definitely not something you see any day. And actually, I just picked up on something. One very important thing to mention this week for the ECAC is the introduction of perks here. We can see already Darth's with this one that every 6 shots fires a burst. That's going to heavily increase that DPS. But all these characters now are going to have to big change their kits in tonight's matches. I would be lying if I said if I knew what all of them were, so we'll have to figure it out as we go.
Absolutely, we have a team fight cracking off here. Ults going both ways, support ult, trying to keep everyone alive. Edgewood coming out on top of it. Finally at the end, after committing a few of those ultimates, being able to swing it. Really strong fight from them.
Yeah, I mean, off the back of that Blizzard Shatter and that sound barrier, it's to be expected that it's going to go their way that well. We saw some great picks, starting with Melly too, the environmental onto Hudio. That's always something fun to see, especially on this map. I mean, you can't ask for anything more from Lucio than environmentals on Leechon Tower. And it's going to be a little harder now for Owls to push into this, knowing they're playing into that Lucio.
You see Kaiser with that Deadeye, everyone on Owl just hiding, fearing from that Cassidy. No one wanting to get caught by it. Ultimate will go by the wayside as Owls now taking this fast route along the side, getting closer and closer to this point. Yui looking to be a little bit of a distraction. See the Moira Coalescence now coming out from Maddie, keeping everyone alive. Gordo back to full HP now. Sound barrier did come out from Chris during this fight. Owls now in the leading spot now with a pick on the Gordo. Kaiser will follow up with a pick onto one of the support players. Fight is going back and forth, but with a few defining picks from Owls that will seal the deal.
And it's going to be 99 overtime, but we do see Gordo here for the last second touch, assuming they're able to get there. Barely do, but they're going to fall as it's left to Melly for this contest.
With a Kitsune rush, gonna burst down that Lucio as well as the Cassidy. May Ice Block can only buy so much time. Maddie knows that they can touch, getting the heal off. At this point you're asking, are you really contesting or are you just buying time? I mean, you just don't have that regroup. You don't really have that potential to get back, get those kills. Just unfortunate for Edgewood there.
Yeah, it was a pretty critical stagger from Edgewood, just really trickling in last minute. I mean, we saw, I believe, Melly with that sound barrier just very last minute. If they had that up maybe just a few, like 10% sooner, it could have made a difference. But we saw Owls with a great showmanship there on that first point, playing together really well. We saw Yui on the Tracer doing a lot of great work, causing a lot of disruption, as well as Chris just being nuisances in the backline and really dividing Edgewood. I think we definitely need to see some swaps from Edgewood, such as, like, I really don't know if this Moira is going to be the best pick, especially utility-wise. I think an anti-nade or possibly just Kiriko better. We saw an immediate fall.
Yeah,
so is this Reinhardt into the Ramattra. It's so hard to play into. You're just gonna be taking so much damage if you're Gordo.
Absolutely. I was going to touch on that I think that's just one of the picks that Edgewood is just going to have to swap off of. It's unfortunate that we won't be able to see the Reinhardt play, but I think that just might need to be the call that Edgewood has to make right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good Reinhardt, but I will mention I do know that his perks aren't fantastic compared to some of the other heroes, and he's just getting straight hard counter. There's no doubt about that into this Ramattra.
Yeah, it certainly is a rough matchup for the Reinhardt, but Edgewood will swing that point, stopping Owls at just 15%, but now the Storm will come back. Melly finds Chris, but gets picked up by Hudio shortly after. Gordo will end up falling, and Edgewood, piece by piece, will fall, and the point will end up swinging back Owls' way.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of these fights, we're seeing FAO Owls DPS make quick work of Edgewood supports. I mean, at the start we saw Maddie fall immediately. There we saw Melly and Maddie fall almost immediately again. Just losing those supports, it's going to be tough. It is good, though, to see Gordo finally making the swap onto this Ramattra mirror. Hopefully that will make the difference that they need.
I truly think it will. We're going to see a little bit of a play with that symmetric turret from Kaiser. Good work to get Edgewood back on this point and in control. But a Kitsune rush from Boppo will have Owls cleaning up the fight. A coalescence from Maddie, desperately trying to keep everyone alive. Kaiser will fall in the midst of fight. Gordo left alone on point. Edgewood will be sent back to spawn.
Yeah, very tough. I mean, again, we are technically Edgewood until just now was in the lead point-wise because they're TPing on point, capping it real quick, and then still losing the fight, but still getting a percentage. But I'm not sure if that's the way you want to be playing it. It's assumed that you are winning the fight and maintaining it, and not just getting a little bit of a gimmick down. We're gonna see DPS ults as well as Mellies come down here. Maybe Edgewood is able to make a difference in this next fight.
Oh, a huge pulse bomb connects from Yui, finding two of the DPS on the side of Owl. will be able to blink back on stage. Yui having a fantastic performance right now on this first map of Lijiang, just being an absolute thorn in the side of Edgewood.
Yeah, I mean, Owls is just doing a phenomenal job holding this. Edgewood is just unable to get this pressure and get the picks that they need. They find a fantastic blizzard from Chris, or beat from Chris, followed by the blizzard from MStar Master.
And like we said, back on the point, they are swinging it. Owls is at 99% now, so if Edgewood does lose this point, they will lose the map. Gonna have to be fighting for the right to play one more round on Lijiang Tower here. Overclock comes out now from Huddio. Darth will find Kaiser. Opening pick. Edgewood down one member. Make it two. Darth is on a rampage right now. Gordo's Annihilation, though, comes in the tail end of this fight, trying to stay alive with that guard, but unable to.
Yes, we are going to see this overtime point flip back in favor of Owls, and we're going to see if Edgewood is able to get this touch. Oh, they are going to make it, but Owls are going to make quick work of Edgewood as they just trickle onto point.
Yeah, now we're back into that situation like we were on that first point where it's just too staggered to really have an offense. And the point will end up going Owls' way, and they will end up taking Lijiang in 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty quick work for them. I mean, we saw Edgewood do a decent job of getting control of that point, but I think that's mostly just the strategy they were running with the Sojourn and the Reinhardt for the majority of that, or sorry, the Symmetra and the Reinhardt, where they would TP onto point, as well as that Mei wall, just take really good control of it, force Owls back. But then from there, all of their utility is gone. Owls just pick them off from afar. They just have a little better DPS. We see Yui on that backline as the tracer, just putting a lot of pressure. And from there, it just feels like Edgewood is trapped as they're just getting constantly killed and hurt from the backline, very divided compared to Owls' more coordinated team play and everything like that. So I think that's likely why Edgewood struggled there, was just a mix-up of the team coordination as well as the picks. I mean, we saw that Reinhardt for maybe a little too long. Not a big fan of the Moira pick either. I think a Kiriko or even just I mean, I like the Baptiste more than that too. That Immortality field could work out well, but I think we are going to have to see some nice swaps from Edgewood, as well as maybe a little bit change of pace for how they're playing.
Certainly. I mean, going into this hybrid map, we're going to have to see them make the swaps that they didn't quite find early enough on Lijiang. They're having a fresh start here going in on this new map. They're going to have, I believe it's going to be a defense. And going in on that, they're going to have to be in the mindset that Owls just came off of a 2-0 there. They know that they can win some fights. They're going to try to take their space. You're going to have to put up a pretty solid defense going in on this hybrid map here.
Yeah, I agree. Usually for hybrid, we usually see the King's Row, but I'm not going to jinx it, as usually what happens, we call it and it changes, but I think we will likely see that King's Row pick, and I do think Edgewood might do a little bit better, especially with how they were playing. I do think that Reinhardt can be successful in that map if they played, especially, I believe it was MStar Master on the Mei is going to be very strong with that. Mei, we saw some great picks for last season, was very high pick rate for Mei. Just getting those walls, and I think combined, and we're going to Midtown. So, but still,
there it is.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, that's what I get for. Yeah, well,
and I really wanted to go to King's Row.
Yeah, I wanted to go to King's Row and see what's happening. But that's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah, I should have next week. Midtown still very strong choke for the defensive team to hold. Not too many options for the attacking team. However, we did see Edgewood with that Symmetra TP and the strength with that, because they may not have been winning their fights, but they certainly were playing the objective and getting a lot of time in on that. So if we can see Edgewood get that TP and just get through that choke, I think they will stand a decent choice of setting up on that point and getting some decent progress. but I think the struggle might come when it comes to pushing that payload and keeping it moving.
Certainly, and like you were saying, that first point choke certainly is one of the harder ones to push through. You don't have too many options to go through it. I like to see when teams kind of brute force their way through that first choke very speedily, either going up top there and just heading straight to point, kind of diverting some heads and having some DPS pick up some picks on the way in. I think that's one of the better strats here. We to note we do have a side swap. So I
Yeah,
believe
so we
that
are
will
actually going
mean
to
Edgewood
see.
attacking.
Yeah, we will see that Edgewood on attack and see if they're able to apply that. I mean, like I said, they did have a decent attack. It's just actually winning the fight is kind of the issue
Mm,
for them. We saw, especially that second point, almost every single time we'd see the May and the Rhine and uh, the Symmetra holding that front line where most of Owls were. However, Yui was almost every single time just by that cliff in the back, putting so much pressure on the supports, turning heads and just causing issues. So I think that's something we will likely see from the Owls again. It's some kind of stray pick. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see more of a long range option, such as an Ash or even some kind of sniper, just to put a lot more pressure on Edgewood. Um, and I think we will have to see for Edgewood more swaps more often. I think that that was their issue last time, is they were making swaps and they would do a little bit better with it, but maybe just a little too late, maybe not the right swaps. And I think it's just going to come down to how we see Edgewood adapt to Owls' playstyle here, and the other way around as well.
no, I completely agree. I mean, as we saw in that first point with Lijiang Tower, on Lijiang Tower with that Reinhardt, I just felt like it needed to be swapped off of maybe before going into that. Well, it was about like what, halfway through onto that second point, I think, is when we saw that swap. It has to start feeling like you're running into a brick wall sometimes, and you just might have to. As soon as you start to feel like that, it might just be better to swap off of that hero into someone you think might do better. It could work for that swap, and it's also going to take the enemy by surprise a bit there. I mean, expecting a different character coming out of the gate hot with someone else and just blasting your way through could definitely be a good strat.
For sure. Something else that could be maybe just a contender for that, and might be making some people hesitant to the swaps, or the sunk cost fallacy of, oh, I'm just gonna get my ultimate and use it, because at that point it's like, is it even worth building up to something like a coalescence for a fight that you may or may not win, versus switching to somebody with just utility that will do better. And I think something that really adds to that now are the perks. Is when you play a hero, you level up over time and you get more additions to them and greater play, obviously. However, when you swap to a different hero, unlike ultimates, there is absolutely no conversion. You just start back at level 1, although there is a slightly increased gain of the perks. You're still starting back at that level 1 for a decent while, so that might be a little bit in the mind of like, oh well, I already have this character level up, or maybe if I do level up, I'll be able to play longer. And I just don't know if that's something that I'd like to see, if that is the issue.
Yeah, counter swapping definitely got a nerf with the addition of perks. It's just not as favorable to swap as many times as you would have before pre perks. Like you said, getting reset to 0, that almost feels like almost worse than playing into that bad matchup with the perks. But most of the time it's not. You're just gonna want to switch, tough it out for like a fight or two, get that first perk online, and you're really gonna have to make something go with what happens with that. I mean, you see the Sigma actually on the attack here.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that. I don't think the Sigma is an awful pick. And we're already seeing Edgewood taking a lot of space in this hall. However, they're going to have to, they can't lose their momentum here. They're going to have to continue to push out if they don't want to get stuck. As we do see that very nice wall from M-Star Master.
Yeah, M-Star. That was a good Mei play with that wall going down to block off Darth. They were just unable to follow it up with that Bat Immortality field coming down Yui, once again, where we can always find them in the back line of Edgewood, causing some disrupt, but not enough, as Edgewood's finding the picks they need to secure this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking good. We saw Edgewood take a lot of space, make really efficient work of it, and I got a little worried as they were pushing on point that they're going to be a little divided. We saw Yui on that flank as expected, but they made quick work of it. Some great work from Maddie as well, keeping the team up. So yeah, that was just really good from Edgewood, and I was not expecting that efficient of a push from them.
Yeah, like I was saying before we got into it, I think one of the better strats for Midtown is just having that constant momentum, just continuing to push onto that point, getting some picks if you have to run them off, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, beautiful push.
Exactly.
Now
Why
still
fight
taking
on
space
when you can fight on point?
We see that BAP amplification matrix coming out. Nice window in the middle of the point here.
You're seeing a slight pinch on Edgewood there.
Heat drop to counter Darth's annihilation, but unfortunately he can outlast it. It is still going on. He finds two. Will end as he's finishing running off Edgewood from the point.
Yeah, we did only see Melly's beat catch half of them. As like I said, I think we saw Edgewood get a little divided in this underground with half of them one direction, half of them the other. So good stop from Owls. I think that was a good job of really spreading out and attacking them from both sides there, leaving Edgewood in a very poor spot. Very good from Owls. Looking at the ults now, we see both DPS ults from either side, as well as this Gratific Flux from Gordo coming up, but not many supports for Edgewood.
Yeah, Owls does have the support ults when they're going to need him now. Boppo holding on to that Kitsune rush as they did find Gordo. Getting ever closer. Dragon Blade comes out. Yeah, very close to finishing that. Yui will find Kaiser. Audio finds Melly. Picks for Owls right now. Carrying just the final bit of them. Will stop that push now.
Yeah, I'm surprised we actually saw Edgewood get that far. I didn't even realize there. Owls finally making a good stop. We saw a good blade from Yui, as well as a decent blizzard from Master. Looks like we're gonna see this Gratific Flux building. However, we're gonna have this beat and Kitsune rush from Chris and Boppo. And I think as long as Chris saves that beat for that Gratific Flux, it won't make too big of a difference.
There it comes out. Did not see the beat. There it is. Beautiful from Chris. Getting it down when his team was in need the most. Like you were saying, for that Gratific Flux. Owl now will be able to run off Edgewood yet again.
Being able to sit on that nice Kitsune rush response as well is definitely something to enjoy there. You see, we are going to see Edgewood supports though building up to these ults. I will say that I do think the window from Maddie definitely isn't as effective as a team ult as Boppo's is. So for now, I'm going to put it in favor of Boppo, but I don't know. We are building up to quite a few now, especially this annihilation from Darts could make a big difference in this fight. Looks like they don't need it though.
Yeah, one Kitsune rush and a dashing Genji is about all you need. Really great stuff there from Owls. Now getting a little... Okay, yeah, I'm now pulling back. Okay, they were pretty far there, realizing that and just saying, all right, guys, let's put it in reverse real quick. Let's not overextend and get picked.
Now this is getting a little close to what I was saying, where I was expecting Owls to have a very strong attack, take that point very well, but I think they're going to have a bit of an issue actually pushing this point. I think once they get stopped by Owls, it's going to be a little tough for them to keep this momentum going, but we are going to see them taking a different approach, and that's something I like to see, not just going at it for the third time. They're going to make a bit of a difference and try and play aggressive.
Beat drop coming out from Melly. Overclock from Hudio gets responded with an overclock from Kaiser. The Sojourns are looking to find some picks right now. Nothing comes down immediately, but an annihilation from Darth. Gonna put a lot of disrupt on the point for Edgewood. They're gonna have to respond, and with a blizzard they will. M-Star finding the pick. A Dragon Blade now from Yui coming out, finds two with a slash, looking for a third, dashing all over. Will find the BAP at the end. What a fight from Owls there.
Yeah, that was looking real grim for FAU, but that was a huge blade from Yui there, as well as a straight kill from Boppo. We're gonna have to see a very quick touch from Edgewood, and we've seen them get quite staggered before. I don't know how easily they're gonna be able to make this touch, as Melly's gonna fall with 3 seconds left. It looks like there will not be a touch. As FAU
unfortunately,
make a good hold there. Edgewood, I do think they had decent attack, but FAU just held their ults a little bit longer and had some better responses, waiting for Edgewood's support ults to get run out. Yui was basically left undefended for that blade, and I think that's something crucial Edgewood needed, was maybe saving just a little bit of utility, expecting those DPS ults to be up soon. But still, very good push from Edgewood. I think that they, once again, maybe could have made a few swaps just a little bit sooner. Owls, definitely a great hold. Maybe could have done a bit better on that first point. Definitely weren't expecting that aggression.
Yeah, we're gonna see if they can respond with aggression of their own. It looks like going for the exact same team. Both teams are. We do have, yeah, just the exact same teams, just going right at it, just swapping sides. I do like the defense from Edgewood. I did think that team was just a little more defense oriented, but the way they took that first point, I didn't really want to say too much. But I really do think this is going to be a strong defense from Edgewood here.
And I mean, as well as I think FAU's team was a little bit attack oriented, especially with that Genji and the Kiriko and the Ramatra. Definitely strong defense is the good offense, obviously, but I think it's the other way around, but you know what I mean.
We're going to see if Edgewood can dig their heels in on this first point. Not let Owl push through too much. They seem just not too scattered yet. Did get a little disconnected by that May wall from M-Star. Unable to find too much value out of it, though. Now going to get pushed back just a little bit further. Going to have to back up to point. Some of the members of Owls are starting to squeak around, get through the defenses. Garth is in a horrible spot, but the wall does have a crack in it. Able to get out. Almost a perfect wall from M-Star there.
Yeah, we're seeing a great shield there from Darth, blocking that rock as FAU just looks a little pinched here. I think what they should do is just wait it out, let their utility build up, let Edgewood waste it, and then make a strong aggression on the point. We see Yui with a nice pick on the melee.
Yeah, a couple picks now for Owls. Edgewood did respond with one of their own. Not sure if it's enough to hold, but for right now, it seems like Maddie is okay keeping up the entirety of Edgewood with that amplification matrix. Gordo was in the room, unable to get out in the line of sight of Maddie to get the heals. Immortality field will keep everyone alive.
Surprised how well Edgewood is holding this, especially with their numbers.
But with an overclock from Huddio, looking like that will be all she wrote for Edgewood on this first point.
Yeah, I mean, great attack from them, from FAU. Edgewood, I mean, obviously did a better hold than the Owls had this first point, so they are technically going to the second point with the advantage. Although I don't know about the ultimate advantage, as FAU is going to have 4 ults building here, while Edgewood only has, I guess, 4 now, too.
Blizzard and both beat drops coming out from both from the teams here. Blizzard from the side of Edgewood. We're going to see Kaiser pop that overclock, but a Dragon Blade in your face is unable to get any value out of it. Beautiful play from Yui there, still finding kills. I mean, we've definitely seen Yui shining this entire game so far. Going from that map 1 on Lijiang to now Midtown, just an outstanding showing on this DPS.
Yeah, we saw they did fall fairly low during that blade, getting some nice value out of that life link. I believe the 25% life steal with that blade, coming in clutch. You see a Kitsune Rush and a Gratific Flux from either side, finding Guts and Melee from either side.
Yeah, pretty even battle going on right now. Gordo does fall critically low, and with Yui reflecting. A shot from the Sojourn will find that kill. Chris with the boop kill. Picks now in Owls' favor. After trying to find Edgewood through this Kitsune rush from Maddie. Audio is back, looking to secure the picks now. Will find one on the melee. Looking for Gordo next. Pops the overclock. I believe Edgewood is starting to fall to pieces here.
Yeah, we're seeing once again that just kind of stagger where it's just the team just filling in. We're seeing a good contest from Kaiser though, falling low though. So it's up to Melee on 1 health.
Ooh, we will see a touch from Gordo
though.
Oh, but he will fall and the payload will get pushed. Owls will take Midtown, now up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, I think that was just a very aggressive push from Owls, keeping Edgewood on the back end there. Just anytime, even when they got that first fight win, they pushed all the way up here to this final point, just making sure they kept the pressure up. They weren't staying on cart, they were just keeping that pressure up. This is that nice 3K from Yui we saw on their on FAU's defense to really flip the fight in favor of Owls. So good job to Owls there from that map. They definitely had a great attack stage there. I think Edgewood did have a decent defensive hold. However, I think they just got a little tripped up. I don't think that Ramacho worked as well as they wanted it to. I mean, it felt like most of the time we were seeing Gordo is with the arms up, getting that block, just taking so much damage. And I feel like maybe it just wasn't enough healing, or maybe it wasn't enough pressure on the rest of the team of Owls, but we could definitely see Edgewood struggling just a little bit there on that map.
Certainly, and going into this third map on this push, we're gonna have to see Edgewood really come out here. I mean, we've seen plenty of push games go the distance and then one team push all the way back, you know, make up the entire distance. We're gonna have to see Edgewood really seal the deal here. Get this robot moving right away. Maybe push for that forward spawn and really try to drive this nail in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen how these teams play. We see kind of their aggression, and I think push is where that really comes down to how they're actually able to apply it in a mode where you're both playing attack, similar to or I should say both sides. Similar to Control, where usually it's one team secures it and it's defense or attack. This map is very much more back and forth, and it really comes down to those picks and the ultimate usage and how these teams are able to balance that. We've seen Owls do a great job at that, not committing a lot of support ults at once and really balancing out. We see Edgewood maybe staying a little too long on certain characters they shouldn't, holding ults maybe a little too long. So I think we should see Edgewood with some different play styles here. We are going to see a swap from them as well, as we're going to see Flo fill in for Melee. I believe that was on the Lucio. So maybe that support swap might be a little bit change in pace for Edgewood. Let the team play a little differently. We'll have to find out.
Certainly will, and I like you were mentioning it. You know, it's more of an attack here. It is going to come down to some of this ultimate usage, really more gameplay mechanic here. Who can land their shots? Who can get the util off? Who can get the better usage of their ultimates, like you were saying? You know, that's where push has kind of grown on me a little bit. It really is a great showing of just these players' raw skill, seeing which of them really has the upper hand in this war attrition on push. And I think Edgewood really does have some fight, and I think they will show some fangs in this push map.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're on the edge of losing, you would want to get very aggressive, really change the way you're playing, and apply everything you've learned from these past few maps into this last one. And I mean, we are looking at Edgewood's possible reverse sweep here if they do make it happen, which definitely would be a sight to see.
Don't think we didn't pick up on that when we heard that. Can't sneak that one in there anywhere. It's just not happening.
I mean, yeah, we do look at the records too. Owls right now, FAU is undefeated. And I mean, if you're the Owls, you're looking who might be the one to bring you down, and if you're them right now, they might...
Oh, it hurts. Oh. Yeah, that's... let's get into this push map. I mean,
yeah, all right.
Somehow we have made this push map seem like the key moment now after listening to us, which is something, because it's no hot take, I think, to say that push was not a very favorable mode. Still definitely is not up there.
Yeah, that was until they added Flashpoint and it made push just look a tiny bit enjoyable. That's the only way to make it good, is make the other modes worse.
Make the other modes worse. That is the way to do it. And
now, one thing I will comment on, definitely when push did first come to Overwatch 2, it was a little miserable, and the idea of having to win multiple fights in a row just to get back tied. Like if you're losing, you have to win a fight several times, 2 to 3 times, just to get that lead back, depending on where you are. And I mean, that definitely is hard. However, it does really stress the teams and really push them to their limits of their flexibility, of their like ult usage, and how these teams are able to apply that. And you can't just dump all your ults into one fight. You know you're gonna have to take multiple. So it definitely does force teams to be creative. Speaking of creative, as we see Edgewood's team here rocking with the Mercy, the Pharah Mercy actually, then Ana, Wrecking Ball, and Sombra. I don't think we've seen any of these 5 heroes this season yet.
I mean, this is spectacular. Edgewood is here to give us a show. We see Gordo now on that Wrecking Ball pick, trying to cause some disrupt in the back line of Owl. Now going back for the front line. Darth finding some pressure. Did get pile drived by that Wrecking Ball. Now going to be trying to play back, not go too aggressive. Kaiser will find the opening pick onto the tank player of Owls. Will set them back, I'm sure. Move onto the Wrecking Ball. We'll send Gordo back. I'm sure he's going to want revenge for that one.
Yeah, we saw a nice pick from Kaiser there, but falls, as well as Maddie, as Owls DPS are starting to pick up some. Chris
just hopping.
I just don't think Owls are prepared for this type of aggression. I mean, I don't think I would either. The Pharah Mercy with the Wrecking Ball jumping around you while your supports are getting hacked in the back. I mean, how do you keep up with this? It definitely isn't a meta comp by any means. All it takes is just a little priority targeting and a little grouping to take care of it. However, it's working well for Edgewood as they're gonna get this forward spawn. Getting a nice advantage.
Yui not taking notice of the giant ball in the living room right away. A new piece of furniture in the house. Definitely not recognizing the Wrecking Ball. I mean, this is just something. Darth now swapping to that Hazard. Gonna try to play a bit, I guess a bit more divey with his team.
Yeah, definitely, as well as that Kugio swap onto the Sombra. FALs recognizes what's going on, and they're here to match it. Yui's finding 2 great picks, though.
Gordo did get rezzed by that Mercy. Maddie trying to keep everyone up. Falls in a wrong spot, but is able to get out with those dashes. Nice Mercy movement coming out from Maddie here, staying alive, keeping everyone up and healed.
Yeah, that was a great use of Valkyrie, keeping this pressure as this fight is just raging on. And I mean, Edgewood isn't really getting kills, but they're not dying either. Their whole comp, especially with this Wrecking Ball, is just stalling. We take back what I said. We wait for the rest of Edgewood to return with a fantastic Valkyrie from Maddie to keep up Gordo as they keep that contest and keep this point rolling.
Yeah, I mean, what a fight. Like I was saying in the beginning, some of these fights are just going to come down to a war of attrition. It's just going to be who can outlast the other team long enough, who can get the most amount of ults thrown at them and can still heal through it. And
yeah, speaking of
ults, there, like you were saying with the Valkyrie.
Speaking of ults building up to the 4 from FAU, I'd be surprised if we didn't see a flip in the control here with a massive EMP hitting 3 members.
Arth picks up Maddie. Stuck Pulse Bomb on the flow. Hadio finds one as well.
There we go.
MStar not being able to evade Hadio.
Now again, with that Wrecking Ball, I mean, I would be unsurprised if Gordo's even there to stop the contest there. We see Edgewood did lose that fight, but they have decent distance, and now Owls committed a decent amount of ults there to win that, and they're gonna have to do it again if they want to keep rolling. As again, Edgewood just is running a really stall-esque comp.
Ooh, a hack goes out onto Darth. We did see that sound barrier and Kitsune rush from the side of Owls. Committing both support ults there, stacking them. Might not have been the best move, but they are winning this fight right now as Gordo did fall to Yui. Getting res though, as now they have picks in this fight and their tank back up. Kaiser doing a fantastic job securing these kills. Yeah, Edgewood is now back up.
We saw at the start of that, Yui really doing a good job of changing the target priority, like I said, realizing who's really the backbone of this team, and I definitely think it is that Ana. I mean, you can keep shooting a Wrecking Ball, but they're not going to go down with those heals up. So getting that pick early was definitely helpful, but I do think that we just saw some really nice picks in response from Kaiser and MStar Master. We're going to have to see that continue. Hudio with a nice flank here, just looking for this Ana. Target secured.
And you know, we were touching on that Mercy earlier. Might not have been the best pick, but now we're seeing these reses on the tank, and it's actually looking really nice. Maddie getting another one on the Kaiser right there. Similar to like a Rocket Raccoon beacon from Marvel Rivals, you're able to get that nice revive on teammate. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to have on a fairly low cooldown.
For sure.
Nice.
And also to mention that I was a bit hesitant with that Mercy pick, but that was before we were seeing that Pharah pick. Once we saw that Pharah as well as the Sombra and the Wrecking Ball, it really showed what the team is known for, of just being really, really annoying and just being all over the place, real hard for FAU. We know that they stay grouped, they play together fairly well, and Edgewood said, you know what, we've been a bit divided, we're going to do it as much as possible, and it's working out really well for them.
Especially with a massive EMP from MStar there. We're seeing Edgewood just push, push, push. There is nothing Owls is able to do that can just stop them now. They are just in such a driver's seat here.
I'm surprised we even seen like a hit scan swap from FAU Owls here. Like, I do know that Sombra, or I should say more of a long-range hit scan pick. But we do have quite a few ults come down from FAU here, yeah.
There we have a pick now. Maddie being able to rise
Mercy.
the res and find a pick onto the tank. Maddie doing it all. Hearing us talk a little bit of smack in the beginning, showing us why the Mercy is being picked here. Rocket Barrage will secure Hadio. Oh, a Kitsune rush though, out of spawn. We'll get the Chris gets stuffed by Kaiser. 2 rockets landing in succession. We'll take him down. Nano Boost coming out now from Flow onto Kaiser, doing even more damage. These rockets from Pharaoh landing their shots. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, Quite literally, we see Edgewood on the edge of victory here. Just making some desperate swaps. That Torbjorn, I think, is going to be a big pick, as we do see this Wrecking Ball swap. Also, I think is going to be able to put the pressure on Edgewood the same as they're getting. It's coming down to what we were seeing last season with that Winston dive comp, where it's just now an issue of who can be a bigger issue for the other supports. And we're seeing that now with these swaps. And I don't know, we're going to see if Edgewood's able to switch it back their way, keeping this forward spawn.
Oh, but they do isolate and find the Lucio. Chris falls, but so will Maddie. Both teams down now, one support. Pick going both ways, back and forth, back and forth. But Owls now squeaking out ahead with just a few more picks onto crucial targets.
Now, Darts, after winning that, swapping back to this Hazard, like you said, it's a little surprising, but I think that jump is definitely to be able to put some pressure on the Pharah. Now, one thing I will point out, I mean, a minute left on the clock. Do you really think you're able to push 100 meters, especially into this team with this Wrecking Ball? It's just so much time you can spend running around point, stalling out the timer. It's going to leave FAU Owls in a hard point for overtime. I think we're going to see a big EMP here.
So that was a perk I didn't know. Rocket Barrage moving around. That was awesome. That was sweet to see the hack and execute onto Darth right away.
For sure.
Great way to end Owls' push right there. And now we see them right back in that forward position, ready with those mines from Gordo.
Something I want to point out, I believe M-Star is also running the perk to make it so you can hack teammates to heal them. Which definitely is not something we've seen, obviously, but it's going to be interesting applied.
And you see the Molten Core also from Yui. Gonna see what happens with these ults here. The minefield does come out from Gordo. As a response, the Molten Core will get laid down by Yui. Gordo did find 2 picks on the both of the supports. The Wrecking Ball putting up numbers right now.
5K!
Is that
That's
5K from
oh
the
my
Wrecking
god!
Ball? Gordo
What?
showing exactly why you go Wrecking Ball and push, I suppose. What a play!
I mean, I said this mode pushes creativity, and my god, did we see it in this fight, as we see an absolute fantastic show from Edgewood there. I mean, I'm just astounded. We saw a fantastic nano as well as the ult from Edgewood supports, and then just a phenomenal 5-man from Edgewood here. Just absolutely crazy from Gordo there, as well as all of Edgewood.
That was awesome.
Owls, definitely, they regained their momentum. I think that Wrecking Ball may have worked just a little bit if they kept that. I don't really know why they swapped off of it. I think it was the pressure they needed. We did see Chris maybe a little out of position a few times, playing a bit high up. It looks like we are going to see Owls kind of recognizing what the heck just happened, making some swaps now. We're going to see Hudio out for Frosty. And now something I will point out, in our player notes, we were given the note of Frosty plays, quote, the annoying hero. Didn't say who, just simply the annoying hero. I'm unsure of who that's referring to, but I am excited to find out. We see them with an Echo picture.
Yeah.
That could be a bit of a
We're gonna be coming after one particular fan base. We just don't know who yet. we'll get back to you on it. It's gonna be a DPS, so one of the DPS mains. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get in this next one, but I do think we're gonna take a quick 2-minute break before we get back into this. We're aiming now for a possible Edgewood reverse sweep, which would just be a phenomenal thing to see.
Absolutely.
We'll be back in just 2 minutes to get right back into the action.
All right, welcome back. We are getting into our fourth map here on New Junk City. We do have Owls currently leading 2-1 in the series. Edgewood is on track right now for a reverse sweep if they win this flashpoint, and then I believe
I believe it's just payload.
Is it just payload? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, then just a payload map. They will reverse sweep, but we're gonna have to see them get through Owls' New Junk City first.
And I mean, already I'm excited to see the team comps they're running. We're coming off the back of a fantastic game for Edgewood.
From the wrecking ball.
Gordo playing that Doomfist, as well as we're seeing that aggressive comp. And I was really reflecting, and I was thinking, other than just running a crazy comp like that, what worked for Edgewood? And I think something we saw was in those tight knit objectives, we saw FAU putting a lot of pressure, especially with the flanks and the individual picks. We saw Yui almost with that flank every single time, causing so much of a distraction. And the difference we saw in that push map was Edgewood didn't even have a backline. There wasn't a backline. It was just playing so all over the place that they couldn't get caught out anywhere. And I think that's part of the reason it worked for them. And we're going to have to see if they kind of keep that same positioning and mentality in this one. Do you see them playing fairly together here? So we are see them on the back foot. Yui finds a nice pick on the Maddie.
It is safe to note that Frosty is on the Venture. Venture is the annoying character, which I'm upset about. I like the Venture pick Frosty. But so far, I am liking the play. They were doing a great job there. Owls running off Edgewood and starting to capture this point. And like we always say, Flashpoint does tick faster than that normal control. So we're gonna have to see Edgewood group up and really get back there quick.
Yeah, that's where that Lucio is important, so it makes me a little sad to see Maddie up here just playing DPS on the front line. You should just be taxiing that team, but already we're going to see Yui going on that back line like to be expected, as we're just going to see Owls really pressuring Edgewood from all angles, but just like usual, we're going to see Edgewood possibly get this cap, just a little bit left.
Kaiser was looking for that kill onto the Junker Queen. Unable to find it right away. We'll get some help from the tank. Couple picks now, but not too many to run off Owls from the point. And with how fast it caps, we're already nearing that 99% for Owls.
Yeah, I mean, almost in this overtime, already on this first point. Dragonblade comes out for Kaiser, but very low. They are going to switch the point over as FAU falls back a little bit. Kaiser needs a moment to put that.
Yeah, kind of popping that blade and just saying, hey, get off my point. Get out of here. Get out of here. What's happening now? Get out of here. This is our point. Not really able to find too much value, but nice zone from it. Kitsune Rush will be responded by a Kitsune Rush and a beat drop. Maddie is the only one left with a support ult, holding on to it just for right now, as Gordo did land a huge rampage through a lot of the team of Owls. It might just be able to run them off. Did get picked on the way out though is M-Star, but they did retain that.
I mean, they're holding this. Yui's going to be late to this fight with that blade, which I honestly think is going to be a bit of an issue, as I'm expecting this beat to come out early from Maddie. Yui's going to be late to this fight with this blade to clean up, and that's exactly what I'm expecting here.
Perfectly timed beat from Maddie, canceling out that tectonic shock from Venture. Dragonblade from Yui. Might have been the first one this game that we haven't found any picks, and now Owls is finding the picks they need. Brist giving us the Frogger treatment, showing us that Lucio is a great pick.
And I mean, we did see Edgewood put up a decent fight there. But
yeah,
we did see, just like I said, Yui coming in on almost staggered is what helped helped Owls there, as you see all of the utility is gone, and that Dragonblade is just free to rampage. And even though we didn't see much, the team was already so divided and low that it was just enough to scare him off point and get him out of position. See Edgewood starting with this blade now.
Yeah, another Dragonblade from Kaiser. With Kitsune rush from Boppo, enabling Owls to find the picks that they need. And with this point unlocking in just a few seconds, they will be able to start this first capture on it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Edgewood, I'm looking for possible swaps that might make a difference here. I mean, I don't know if I like that Moira swap. We saw that in the first map. I just think compared to that Kiriko Lucio, especially in a mode like this where you need that speed to get up here quick, you're going to want that. But we did see them falling quite a bit. Maybe just looking for that survivability. We're going to see Chris with this speed and Frosty with this Ventural coming down. Tectonic Shock.
Ooh.
Finding a quick
We'll
pick on the
find the
floor.
drill kill.
Shutting down that Kitsune rush too.
You love to see that pick onto the support with the ultimate. That's just the best person we could have targeted in that position. Frosty showing us maybe why Venture is the annoying character. As they're finding a few picks, but Kaiser will shut it down. Owl still has the numbers. Ooh, and Lucio will get out.
Looks like no flip. I mean, it seems like we're seeing Edgewood fairly spread apart here. 97? Do see a touch, though.
We do. The two rampages coming out. Couple members were purple. Beat drop from Chris. Trying to keep everyone alive through M-Star's ultimate. Kitsune rush on the back end, keeping everyone on Owls alive and empowered. Coalescence from Maddie will get shut down by Yui. What a pick! Kiriko can only do so much against an ulting Dragon Blade. Yui tearing Edgewood apart. Beautiful,
Yeah, now
beautiful cat.
Quite literally match point for the map and the game here as Edgewood looking for this reverse sweep. Like they said, need to win all 3 of these points in a row and another map in order to win this. It's looking grim as we're seeing some desperate swaps from Edgewood. Order to that Winston looking like a target pick for Yui, knowing that Genji is just a really big issue. But I do think that Darth is just going to eat up that monkey with the shotgun up close and the knife. Just a lot of damage going down on Gordo, and I don't know if Moira Lucio has the heals to answer that.
Definitely might not. Frosty did have the Tectonic Shock going. I don't think they were able to find too much, though. We see the Genjis finding the pick for either team. Now Owl finally closing in on a few of those kills. Now pushing towards the point. Boppo, the Kiriko.
Playing
Securing a couple. Like you were saying, though, we do see swaps from Edgewood. This is their last chance to put up a fight. If they do lose this point, this will be the game. They do have to pull off a complete reverse sweep now. It's just going to have to be near perfect play from Edgewood from here on out.
Exactly. This whole night, we're seeing a huge anti, though, from Darts with that Junker Queen ult.
The Rampage, yeah. Getting off back, a couple of the DPS and the supports.
That's going to be a team
running
kill
off Edgewood.
for Owls, yeah.
Yeah.
Edgewood definitely on the back foot. I don't know if I like this monkey pick. I am in favor of this Sombra. I think it'll be able to cause some big interrupts. That EMP is going to be good against that beat from Chris, assuming you get it online.
Like you were saying, Darth is going to eat that monkey. He is going to tear it up. Definitely a hard fight into Junker Queen as the Winston. With a Kitsune rush, Edgewood will be able to find some footing, getting some of the picks.
Where's the healing?
Not too sure they're on this point. Struggling to stay alive. Owl, Darth just barely squeaking by. I'm not sure how they lived through that. Oh, that's incredible. And then finding a pick. Yeah, that's terribly unfortunate.
No.
As Yui's now slashing away yet again. And I believe this will be the nail in the coffin. Will Darth eat that monkey? Yui will.
Oh, very unfortunate as we see Owls take that win from Edgewood in a 3-0 fashion on this map, winning 3-1 overall. Fantastic plays from Owls there. They were not playing around in the second map. They said they were just a little upset from losing to a wrecking ball, and they went full force on this map here. Definitely a strong play. Yui just a phenomenal DPS there for Owls. Edgewood, I mean, we saw them definitely improve over the course of these games, starting out just feeding what felt like most of that first map, and to this, finally making a bit of a difference, making the swaps, recognizing what's wrong, and not just kind of keep going at it, trying without any differences. I do think that Edgewood did a good job in a lot of senses, but just definitely couldn't live up to the team play that Owls brought to the table.
Certainly not. I mean, Owls were just looking hot from the very start on Lijiang. They knew what they were here to do, came to play. They did win here 3-1. Definitely a good fight from Edgewood. Owls now 6-0. A very commanding record. Deserves some respect on it. Definitely not easy with some of these teams in the league right now. I mean, 6-0 is definitely a record.
Yeah, I do believe last year Owls Esports, maybe you can correct a few of my terms here, they did go undefeated in the Challenger League, in the going up to the playoffs, I believe. So they definitely did really well, and I believe they placed second overall in their division for the ECAC. So definitely very strong. We see that applied here. A lot of a much bigger roster as well of people compared to Edgewood here. They have I believe 8 members, so they have the swaps there for if they need them. And we definitely saw it there with the swap to Frosty on that venture, keeping that aggression up, doing really well with Yui on the DPS. So again, GG's to FAU Owls and Edgewood, and congratulations to the Owls for the win. Any final words from you?
No, that was pretty much it. I mean, GG's to both teams. And thank you for everyone for showing up and showing. Appreciate all this. Be sure to tune into the rest of the ECAC streams throughout the week. We really appreciate all the support. Can't say it enough. We can't make it happen without you guys. Believe that is it for me.
Yeah, I mean, be sure to tune in. I believe you can see us next on Saturday and Sunday for the Marvel streams. Should be starting around 6 to 7, I believe. So be sure to tune into that. And other than that, we will see you guys next